Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Do you need to stretch your hamstrings? Are they tight after high intensity interval training, running, lifting, any sort of exercise? Are you working on your flexibility, working towards splits? Come do these with me. We're gonna work on our hamstrings today. The first stretch, come to a standing position. Bring your feet about hip width apart. Yes, hip width apart. So hips, knees, and ankles in alignment. And on your inhale, lengthen. And on your exhale, bend your knees generously. And I'm gonna turn so you can see. And fold so that your knees are super bent. And there we go. Your belly can touch your quads. Oh, and we're just gonna hang out here. I say just like it's easy. It's not easy, I know. Oh, we wanna use our breath to help soften and melt our hamstrings. Maybe even the spine is feeling tight. So again, you can bend your knees so much until your belly makes contact with your quads. Just try to keep the heart over the head as we do this. It is a form of an inversion. So in an inversion, we are getting the heart over the head. There's the added bonus and benefit here of energizing our body, decreasing anxiety, so bringing a little more calm to the body, but also energizing. So we can decrease feelings of lethargy and depression or sadness. This might help with that. It might have an impact, but I'm not telling you, any guarantees or making, I don't want to tell you what to feel. These are just things that could happen. Okay, so I'm doing a lot of talking here. Let's come back to what the body is doing. We might shift our weight a little bit into the balls of our feet. We're letting the head dangle. If that's available to you, nod yes and no and see how that feels. What sensations are here in the hamstrings, the calves, the low back. Is there a decompressing sensation or stretching in the spine? Can the arms go heavy? If you'd like, you can ragdoll the arms as well. Take opposite elbows. And as you sway, if that's feeling good, your arms will follow as they dangle. Okay, one more big breath here. Big breath out. Okay, let's melt it down into a seat. Come down real slow. Use your hands for support. If you have blocks, you can use those too, or pillows. All right, we're gonna come into a seated forward fold. And in this pose, we'll stretch the legs out in front of us. Bring the feet to touch or about hip width apart, somewhere in that range. There can be a little gap between your legs. If your knees lock out naturally or they're hyperextend, you can roll a towel or blanket or put a pillow underneath your knees. That'll give them a little support there. Okay, inhale, arms up. And exhale, hang on, let me check here, make sure I'm not turning that off. Okay, inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward and fold. All right, when you find that point of tension in your body, and that might be just a little lean forward and you're like, okay, that's my stopping point, that's great. Once you get there, go ahead and let the upper body round and your arms be supported by the earth, let them go limp. Okay, and then as we do that, the weight of the head can roll forward as well. When we go into this passive rounding and let the earth support us, this is a way to deactivate the hamstrings and go into a more restorative type of stretch that goes deeper into our fascia, our muscular tissues and joints, giving it a little more depth of healing, which helps to increase our flexibility and decrease stress and bring in more healing to our nervous system. Okay, big breath in, big breath out. It is likely that you're hearing my kids or one of my sons right now. They're playing. He's playing with his family while I do this. Right. It's really important that we breathe while we stretch. So come back to the breath. It's going to help oxygenate these tight areas and bring blood flow, much needed blood flow. You might feel a little release in your body, meaning you go a little deeper. There's like this movement all of a sudden where you feel yourself going a little deeper in your stretch. And that's good news. It's pretty cool. If not now, then maybe in the future. Incremental growth happens over time. We need to be patient with ourselves sometimes and remember that the progress is in the process. All right, let's float our head up on an inhale. You can come out of these poses sooner if I'm staying too long for what's right in your body, okay? So next, we're gonna come into our half split. So let's swing our legs behind us into a tabletop pose. So hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. Inhale the right foot forward through our palms. And then from here, we're gonna walk the hands back. Okay? So hips will stack on top of the bottom knee, the left knee. And we'll square our shoulders and hips forward. We might pull back gently on the right hip here, just kind of testing out if we're in an alignment that is giving us access to the hamstring in a way that really stretches it well and feels good. You can try flexing and pointing your front foot. And just notice what sensations that brings along. Let's ground into our palms, drop into our body as we notice what's here. Okay, you can walk that right leg out. More like a slide or glide. And then bring the right hand in and start to lean, not lean, but kind of gently press that right hip back, or your hips back, until you get the right sensation for you. Notice any changes in sensation that this brings to your body. We're actively pressing the earth away here rather than collapsing into the shoulders or the wrists. The elbow creases are turning toward one another. All right, and then let's take the right foot in and then step the foot back into your tabletop. If there's another way you want to get into tabletop, do that. Okay, sway your hips side to side for a moment. Awesome. Left foot forward. And then walk the hands back. Right hip stacks on top of the right knee. Square the hips and shoulders. Pull gently back on that left hip. Finding the sensation that works best for you. And again, you can find movement here. You can flex and point your front foot. Wiggle it around. Explore shapes and sensations. Come back to the breath. Ground through the palms. And then slide the left foot out so that your leg is at a diagonal. Bring the left palm in. And then send the hips back and notice what's here. One more breath. Exhale, left leg back, tabletop. Okay, sway your hips side to side. And we have one more pose. A reclined toe, or a reclined hand to toe pose. All right, so let's lay down on our backs. Feels good, finally. And then we'll hug that right knee in. Inhale, And then take your right hand and start to reach for your toes. Maybe you reach the big toe. If not, you can use your hand against your leg, both hands against your leg, like your calf or maybe even your hamstring. And we're gonna make a footprint. So seek to make a footprint on the ceiling with your foot as you flex it. You might point your left toes and notice some sensation across the top of your left hip. Breathe into that right hamstring as you gently pull until you find your edge. And stay with the breath. If we're reaching the toe, you can take your peace fingers between the right big toe and the second toe and loop your fingers around that right big toe and pull. If it feels better to use both hands against the right leg, then do that. You can flex and point the foot after a few breaths. Notice what's here. Maybe across the top of the foot there's sensation. Maybe across your shin or your outer calf. Also, what's here in the hamstring. As we ask ourselves these questions, we ground into our body. We stay present and notice. Let's push the shoulders back and down. All right, exhale, hug the right knee in and extend that leg straight. Inhale to hug your left knee in. Exhale. Inhale, flex the left foot, make a footprint on the ceiling. Knee to toe alignment here. And then find where you want your hands. Come back to your breath. You can close your eyes if that feels good in your body. And then see if you can make sure your left glute is still on the earth here. Right, exhale, hug the left knee in, and then hug the right knee in as well. Give yourself a really big, loving squeeze, compassionate energy, kindness to yourself. And that's it. That's the end of our practice. I recommend laying here on your back, maybe in Shavasana. I encourage you to find a little quiet and rest for like a minute even. Can do wonders to reset our nervous system. Maybe take a few deep breaths if that feels good. Thank you for grounding with me and stretching your hamstrings as you work toward more flexibility, recovery, or splits. Namaste. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Thanks. Bye.